Hello, everybody. It's Daniel. Uh, the main focus of today's video is, well, maintenance. As the title says, the maintenance of happiness. The reality is everything requires maintenance. Whether it's the mind, the emotion, the physical form, the computer, everything. Like, you do regular scans on your computer, defrag, optimizing, stuff like that. Helps to get rid of fragmented files, helps your computer to run better. If you don't do that, then it starts slowing down, you start having trouble. People, they're the same way. Now, I think technology has had both a good impact and a bad impact to that regard, because a lot of maintenance is automatic now. It automatically does its scans, it automatically checks for this or that, which is nice. It's very convenient. But I think it's also negatively affected the mindset of people because we no longer take time to focus on the maintenance. I have to remind myself, even though the computer has done its searches, I still like to manually do it because it's a good habit to get into. And I think that, in essence, laziness, it transfers over into our everyday life. So getting to a more specific application is the maintenance of ourselves. Anybody that knows me knows, I work out a little bit. For me, it's a therapy thing. It's both a stress relief and an antidepressant. And I've gotten into other videos about how working out can help with depression, because depression is a lack of stimulation. So working out causes that release of, hormones and all that stuff, trigger stimulation, and can help alleviate the symptoms of depression. And that's been a big part of my life, most of my life. So when it comes to, the maintenance of happiness, there's some things to consider. Like I said, negative emotion maintains itself. Anger begets anger. Just remembering anger makes you angry. Remembering happiness doesn't necessarily make you happy. Oftentimes it creates a longing sense. So what can we do to battle with this? How can we approach it? Now, a thing I've learned with a previous video, I've discussed the three minds. The logical, emotional, and the physical. Now, it's always the emotional mind that's a jerk. That's the one that's always, throwing wrenches in the machine, as they say. And to that end, when I'm, dealing with negative emotion, I found it better to try to pull it away from the emotional context and filter it through either the mind or the body. Typically, the body is easier because you can work a lot of that stress out. So I do the body first, typically. Whether I'm depressed or I'm angry, I'll go work out. I've got some simple routines. It's only like 100 reps, whatever. Just to get all that attention, pull it away from the emotional context and push it into physical in a realm that I can more readily deal with it. Then once I've gotten that initial stress and everything kind of settled down, then I filter it through the logical. That is when I analyze. Because if you try to analyze something when you're in the middle of the emotion, all you're going to do is feed the emotion and give it more control. So you need to pull away from that first. So I work out to pull it away, to deal with that initial stress, to help counter some of the depression, to take that edge off. And then I begin to analyze the issue. Why am I upset? Why am I this, that, whatever? So part of the maintenance of happiness is you have to work on all three of these things. We're hardwired to feel. You're going to feel. So you want to focus on reinforcing the things that are worth feeling. Take time to do things you enjoy. Don't tell yourself you never have time, because there's always time. Sometimes it doesn't even take very much time. And since I said enough time in that sentence, let's try to find something else to say. But you're going to feel. So try to invest your efforts into something that you can enjoy. So you have something else to feel, something else to fall back on. Physical health actually plays a very large role in mental health. And you wouldn't initially think that. But, aside from the obvious that people that are having health issues that are not in good condition and all that stuff, they tend to suffer from depression more. And a lot of it is because they're not doing anything to pull away from that emotion. You know, so whether it's push-ups, a hike, or whatever, feeding that physical body helps to pull from that emotional and takes away some of that intensity. And then when it comes to the health of the mind plays a very huge role because of the concept of perspective. As I said in another one of my videos, the three spheres, that perspective. What you choose to focus on defines the world around you. It creates your values. So if you don't strengthen your mind enough, then your emotions are going to dictate all of that. By the natural hierarchy of how, the logical and emotional minds are supposed to work, the conscious mind is supposed to be more dominant, and the emotional mind secondary and supportive. But because of the reinforcement and aspects of technology, how it's constantly feeding into that reactionary mind and the emotional context of life in general, a big problem we have nowadays is people being very emotionally dominant to the point where logically they have no control. And you see these people lashing out all the time. They're very impulsive. They have very little self-control. It used to be what we called being a kid, but now it seems to be a very common issue with adults as well, because they never developed past that stage. They embraced so many activities that fed into the reactionary, emotional mind that they never fully developed their conscious mind to the potential that it should have achieved. So how do we approach some of these things? Now, obviously, the maintenance of the emotional mind is far more difficult. You're dealing with an abstract mentality that's equivalent to a toddler. You can tell it what to do as many times as you want, it's not going to listen. It's just going to keep going right back to what it was, because that is the mindset of the emotional mind. It cares about stimulation, not right or wrong, good or bad. It just cares about attention. Simple as that. It wants attention. For the physical mind, I still recommend regular exercise. Even if it's something as simple as just come up with an exercise that deals with each area of the body. Squats for legs, push-ups for, triceps and chest and shoulders. Just come up with a couple of exercises that you can easily do. And each day, when you get up, just do 10 of them. 5 of them if you need to. That little bit helps a lot. And not only will it help you to physically feel better, you'll feel stronger, you'll feel healthier, but it also will help make it easier to deal with your emotions. You wouldn't think so. If you've never gone the workout route or anything like that, you wouldn't think it would help, but it does. Because it helps to work out that stress, and it helps to feed a healthy stimulation into the consciousness and the emotional mind. It's like vitamins, where drama is chocolate cake. People always run to the chocolate cake, but they need the vitamins. And if you ignore those vitamins and you just eat chocolate cake, you're going to suffer. And that's what I see a lot of people doing nowadays. They're suffering because they're not taking care of their own, their needed maintenance. Now, to feed the conscious mind, there's a number of things like pneumatic devices and stuff. One I like is you get a couple of dice. Just standard 6-sided dice, easy to find. And you roll them, and you write down those numbers left to right. You say them to yourself 7 times, 4, 2, 6, 1, 3, whatever. And then throughout the day, you stop and see if you can remember what those were left to right. If you can't, that's fine. Pull out that paper, read it again 7 times. Then put the paper away, announce them. 4, 2, 6, 1, 3, 2, whatever. and carry on your day. And the next day, roll the dice again. Get your numbers. And it could just be two or three. Well, I'd probably say at least three numbers, because two numbers is really not that difficult at all. You can adjust it based on your own capabilities, needs, and difficulty. If you want to challenge yourself, add another dice. But the whole point is, through that activity, you are consciously directing attention to the logical mind. And attention dictates blood flow, as I've said in previous videos. Blood flow brings nutrients. Nutrients are growth. Growth is health. If all you do is listen to sad songs or watch dramatic TV, you're feeding the emotional mind, not the conscious. And the emotional mind loves that crap. It's the chocolate cake fiend. But you're not helping yourself. You feel like you are at the time. That's like when you're upset and you're depressed. You feel like you need to listen to that sad song to embrace that negativity. And that's, in essence, like an addiction. You are feeding something unhealthy because that unhealthy aspect is trying to take control and it wants the strength to do that. So a big part of the maintenance is choosing who is in control. Is it that little emotional toddler that's just rebelling because it wants attention? Or is it you, the person watching this video? Anyway, I hope that video helps some people. Like I said, I'd appreciate if you'd actually go to my YouTube page. I'll have the link in the post if it's on Facebook. Like, if there's anything you want to hear my thoughts on, go ahead and comment that. I'm trying to pay better attention to it. And I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.